47 باب احترام أسماء الله وتغيير الاسم لأجل ذلك. Respect for the names of Allah and changing one's name for the sake of that. Again, these are all forms to perfect the Tawheed. After in the first chapters how talked about the principles of Tawheed and so on, the book is not just about the principles of Tawheed but also to perfect the Tawheed, so that the person's Tawheed is pure only for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It says it is narrated from Abi Shurayh رضي الله عنه أنه كان يكنى أبا الحكم فقال له النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم إن الله هو الحكم وإليه الحكم فقال إن قومي إذا اختلفوا في شيء أتوني فحكمت بينهم فرضي كلا الفريقين فقال ما أحسن هذا فما لك من الولد قال شريح ومسلم وعبد الله قال فمن أكبرهم قلت شريح قال فأنت أبو شريح. Abu Shuraih, his nickname, his kunya, was Abu al-Hakam. So the Prophet ﷺ once said to him, Allah is al-Hakam. Abu al-Hakam, al-Hakam meaning the judge. So he said Allah is al-Hakam and his judgment is to prevail. See how the Prophet ﷺ is teaching him, even just a name. But the Prophet ﷺ protecting the Tawheed, the hearts to be attached to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala alone. This is what the beauty of the deen of Islam. So he told them that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is al-Hakam, is the judge, and his judgment is to prevail. Then Abu Shuraih said, my people come to me for adjudication of their disputes, like he's a judge between them. And when I judge between them, both parties are pleased with my judgment. And this is not for anybody. This is a talent and knowledge that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bestowed to some of his slaves. The Prophet ﷺ rejoined, how excellent is this? So how excellent is a person to dispute among people with justice? Definitely this is a good thing. Do you have any children? I said yes. Although there's a hadith that condemns judges, right? That in a sense that most of them are in the hellfire if they're not paying attention. The judge or someone that leads people, whatever, he comes in the day of judgment accused till he free himself. In that sense, right? So a person appointed to be judge, the early generations of Islam would run away from this. Why? Because that means they are in so much danger as a result of making a bad judgment and so on. But if they are the only ones to be there, a person then has to step to this. But and this has its own ruling. But the point is, the Prophet ﷺ praised them as a result of his justice. The Prophet ﷺ rejoined, how excellent is this? Do you have any children? The Prophet ﷺ asking him. So he told them this is not permissible. And that's not it. The Prophet ﷺ, if a person has the means to advise the person by something better, he should go forward and further and advise to what is better. So he told them, do you have any children? I said yes. Shuraih and Muslim and Abdullah. These are the names of his children. So the Prophet ﷺ said, who is the eldest? I said Shuraih. Then the Prophet ﷺ said, you are henceforth to be called Abu Shuraih. So the Prophet ﷺ gave him the kunya, known as a better thing than the Prophet ﷺ giving him his kunya. So this is a beautiful kunya because the Prophet ﷺ gave it to him, nickname. And this is reported by Dawood and others, and this is something that, of course, regarding to the title here, as we heard the title, to respect the names of Allah. Out of the respect to the names of Allah, that you don't give it to the human beings, even if they don't mean that, but out of the respect, so that the exaltation of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is there purely in the hearts. If a person has such a thing, that the person should change it to what is better. And it also shows that al-kunya or nicknames, it's a good thing, right? And it's a practice that it's not just for the Arabs, it's something that we need to practice. And there is nothing better than the culture of the early generations of Islam, right? Some people say, well, this is culture. What is a better culture than the culture of the Sahaba radiallahu anhu, or the early generations of Islam? So what? We need to have the same culture. These were the people who Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala was pleased with, even if it's not religion. Right? So we're not calling one another to follow a culture that is present today. Right? We're calling each other to follow the culture of the companions radiallahu anhum and the early generations of Islam. Even if it's not haram or whatever, because it's not something that is part of the religion. But what is a better culture to adopt and to change step by step? Right? With clothing and so on. When people say this is culture, even if in some clothing it's culture, right? But what is wrong with adopting and changing step by step cultures to be like the culture of the companions radiallahu anhum, even if it's not a matter of the religion. So instead of being busy in the dispute, this culture, I do that, this is religion, yani mashallah, this is good to learn that. But if it's the culture of the companions radiallahu anhum and the early generations of Islam, then this is definitely a good thing. And here, kunya, and this is something even the ulama, they say you do that with your children, young ones. They're not still having any children. You give them the kunya, as the Prophet ﷺ in the hadith of Khalid. Khalid, that this hadith, a person, you read this hadith, you think that Khalid is a grown-up woman, in which the Prophet ﷺ, he called for Khalid, and she came, she was carried, right? She's Khalid, the mother of Khalid, when she is not the mother of nobody. And he gave her a piece of cloth, right? And the funny thing is, I remember one time, a person took this hadith as an evidence, see, women were intermingling with men, right? Because Khalid brought to the Prophet ﷺ. Khalid was a baby, was a girl, right? 3-4 years old, something like this. But because of the name, the mother of Khalid, so they thought it's a grown-up woman. So the thing is, she was called Khalid, right? So this is something that is good. It brings certain meanings into that are responsible. The children, the girl is called something, and the boy is Abu something, right? So that he can have some feeling of responsibilities to raise him in the way that whatever you want him to be as a good person and so on. So anyway, so the point of the chapter again is to respect the names of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and that Al-Hakam is one of the names of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, as the Prophet ﷺ said, because we only know the names of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala from the Quran and the authentic hadith of the Prophet ﷺ. And it shows the permissibility of fixing the disputes and judge between people only for those who are capable and have the means to do that. Otherwise, it becomes a disaster if a person is not into that level. And also that the kunya is to be given to the person with regarding to the eldest of his sons. And also it shows that a person's name can be changed if it needs to be changed. If it has a bad meaning or wrong meaning, then it has to be changed, as even mentioned in other hadiths of the Prophet ﷺ. The relationship to the Tawheed, we heard it, right? Because it makes disrespect to the names of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, negates the perfection of the Tawheed.